Okay, today we're going to divide fractions. You need 4 pieces of paper, and you're going to want to alternate your colors and stagger and alternate your colors, and then fold up from the bottom to make them meet. This should look familiar. You can either glue the seam together or you can staple when you get to class. And this is going to be dividing fractions. And we're going to start with 1/3 divided by 1/5. Now step 1 is the same step 1 that we used with adding, subtracting, and multiplying fractions, and that would be convert to improper fraction. But what you'll notice is neither one of these fractions are mixed numbers, so conversion is not necessary at this time. So let's move to step 2. Create equivalent fractions with common denominators. So I'm going to carry over my 1/3 divided by 1/5. And the same as with adding and subtracting, we need a common denominator. So in order to find that common denominator, we're going to count by 3s and count by 5s until we find the first number that's the same. So we'll count by 3s, and then we'll count by 5s. And lo and behold, I have a 15 that's the same. So 15 is going to become my denominator. Now, how do I change a 3 to become a 15? I times by 5, and whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Now, how do I change a 5 to become a 15? Times by 3, and whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top again. So now I've created my equivalent fractions with common denominators. And that brings us to step 3, which will be divide straight across. Just like with multiplication, we got to multiply straight across. Well, division will be the same thing. So let's take our 5/15 divided by 3/15. And let's divide straight across. We're going to divide 5 by 3. And then we're going to divide 15 by 15. Now 5 divided by 3, I'm going to write it a little different. 5 divided by 3. And we remember that all fractions are division problems, and all division problems are fractions, so this still says 5 divided by 3. And then 15 divided by 15 is 1. Now, let me ask you, what is 2 divided by 1? That's 2, right? What is 3 divided by 1? That's 3, right? And 4 divided by 1? That's 4. What if it's 10 divided by 1? It's 10. What's happening to that denominator? It's just sort of disappearing, right? So if you'll take a look at this, this says 5/3 divided by 1. So our answer is really 5/3. So we're going to say that our denominator disappears. And then step number 4, simplify if needed. So let's take our 5/3 divided by 1. And we said our denominator is going to disappear, so we're left with just 5/3. Now simplify if needed. Does 5/3 need to be simplified? Well, of course it does, because it's improper. So we're going to put 5 in the box. Here's your ice cream math, or TIB, or fib in this case. 5 divided by 3. 3 goes into 5 once, with a remainder of 2. And remember, your remainders get a boost over the divisor for a final answer of 1 2/3. All right. But what if it's a whole number divided by a mixed number? What would you do then? Well, the steps are going to stay the same. Step 1 is convert to improper fraction. Now remember, same thing with adding and subtracting and multiplying. All whole numbers can go over 1. Just like a minute ago, our over 1, the 1 just disappeared and we were left with 5/3. Well, our whole number 1 was disappeared. We made it reappear by putting our whole number over 1. And we're going to have to do Texas to our mixed number. 4 times 2 makes 8, plus 1 makes 9/4. So step number 2 is going to be create equivalent fractions with common denominators. Because right now our denominators aren't the same, so let's take our 16 over 1 divided by 9 over 4. 16 over 1 divided by 9 over 4. And we need a common denominator. So what we would do is count by 1s and then count by 4s until we found the first number that's the same. And in this case, our 4 didn't change, so we get to keep our numerator. How do we change a 1 to become a 4? Times by 4, and whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. And that's going to make 64. So now we've got our equivalent fractions with common denominators. So that brings us to step number 3, which is divide straight across. So we're going to carry our 64/9 divided by 9/4. 64/9 divided by 9/4. So, I'm sorry, this is 64/4. I'm sorry. 64/4 divided by 9/4, and we're going to divide straight across. 64 divided by 9 all over 4 divided by 4. So that's going to give us 64/9. 4 divided by 4, 1. And what did we say about the denominator of 1? It gets to disappear. That's right, it's going to disappear. So step 4, we're going to simplify if needed. So let's carry that 64/9 over 1. 64/9 over 1. And our denominator disappears. So we're left with 64/9. Now let's decide, do we need to simplify? Yes, because it's improper. So 64 divided by 9. And what do we do with remainders? Remainders get a boost over the divisor. So our final answer is 7 1/9. So your steps for dividing fractions are the exact same steps as adding and subtracting and multiplying. It's kind of a combination of all of them. You're going to convert to improper. You'll create equivalent fractions with common denominators. You get to divide straight across, and lucky you, the denominator will disappear after you're done because it's a 1. And then you'll simplify that leftover fraction if needed. And that's how you divide fractions.